Hello and welcome to another episode of PodcastDX, the show that brings you interviews with people just like you, whose lives were forever changed by a medical diagnosis. I'm Lita.
I'm Ron.
And I'm Jean Marie.
Collectively, we're the hosts of PodcastDX. On today's show, we're speaking with Asiya Rafiq about endometriosis. Asiya is joining us again from Abu Dhabi. Welcome back to the show, Asiya.
Hi, Asiya.
Hi, thanks again for coming
Hi,
on.
thank you so much.
Asiya, can you start us out by telling us what symptoms led you to your diagnosis of endometriosis?
Yeah, actually for me, the signs and symptoms were a little different than usual. Before marriage, I used to get pain during menstruation, which was very severe, though my periods were not heavy. After the birth of my son, my periods were uneventful, but as the bleeding stops in 2-3 days, I used to get severe abdominal and pelvic pain, unbearable, as if somebody was pulling something, kind of a pain, and most times with bloating sensation associated with nausea. So sometimes the pain was so severe that I used to faint because of it.
Wow.
The ordeal used to last till I get next cycle for the whole month.
Wow.
Again during my menstruation, I was pain-free, no pain, nothing at all. The symptoms were so unusual that nobody thought of endometriosis. It was always like, no, it's not that one. So as I was being investigated and treated for different medical problems, which were never there. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. It's usually the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's endometriosis is very complicated. Yeah.
It's very complicated.
Would you mind telling our listeners what the common signs and symptoms would include? I mean, I know yours were quite unusual, but what would they might expect?
Having said before, like my signs and symptoms were so unusual, I consulted many doctors. It was kind of a doctor shopping every day, and they thought there is some issue with my abdomen. So I underwent a battery of tests, which did not yield any diagnosis. So completely different. It was not even meeting the segments of endometriosis. So kind of things. Yeah.
Okay. And do they know what is the underlying cause for your endometriosis?
Yes, the doctors were here actually. The doctors here know about the causes of endometriosis, but due to my unusual symptoms, they never thought of endo to begin with. Though the causes are same like retrograde menstruation, menstrual blood containing endometrial cells, flow back through the fallopian tubes and into the pelvic cavity instead of out of the body. These displaced endometrial cells stick to pelvic walls and surface of pelvic organs, where they grow and continue to thicken and bleed over the course of each menstrual cycle. So there are some important points to understand. Basically, it's like transformation of peritoneal cells in what's known as the induction theory. Experts propose the hormones or immune factors promote transformation of peritoneal cells that line the inner side of your abdomen into endometrial cells. So embryonic cell transformation, it's very important also the point. Hormones such as estrogen may transfer embryonic cells in the earliest stages of development into endometrial cells implants during puberty. And surgical scar implantation after surgery such as hysterectomy, or C-section, endometrial cells may attach to a surgical incision. So endometrial transport, the blood vessels or tissue fluid, lymphatic cell system may transport endometrial cells to other parts of the body. And not to miss the last, it is like immune system disorder. A problem with the immune system may make the body unable to recognize and destroy endometrial tissues that's growing outside the uterus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating for women.
Yeah, that sounds like it would make it very hard to diagnose.
Yeah.
Asiya, had you heard about endometriosis before you got your diagnosis? And do you know anybody else that has this? Any family or friends?
Unfortunately, no, Lita. I was not aware of endo before, and none in my family or friends
Wow.
had it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that had to have been especially hard.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and Asiya, how has your healthcare team treated your condition? And have you seen any improvement in your symptoms?
Fortunately, I met a US trained gynecologist in
Okay.
one of the hospitals here in UAE. And she's like, after going through my history and investigations, thought of endo, but one of the cause, and she asked me to start a drug called Visan, which is a low dose progesterone,
Okay.
which stops your periods. After starting this medication, there was significant change in my pain symptoms. I continued that medication for 6 months, during which I felt good. But as soon as I used to stop the medication, the pain came back again.
Oh.
So it was just it was kind of a temporary solution.
Mm-hmm.
As being in young age, I don't felt to stop my normal periods forever too. Yeah. So
Okay.
Have you had any surgical procedures to help treat the diagnosis?
I had hormonal therapy, as I mentioned you
Okay.
before, but it had its drawbacks, like stopping your normal periods, the pain coming back again as I stopped the medication. So response to Visan was considered as one of the diagnostic criteria for endometriosis, and taking things further from there, I underwent both diagnostics and therapeutic laparoscopy for my condition.
Mm-hmm.
And by God's grace, after the procedure, so thankful to Almighty, I never had to take any medications, and I overcome my ordeal.
Good.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And have you tried or had any success with any alternative therapies such as massage or acupuncture?
Not many alternative therapies, but heat and massage used to give me relief temporarily. It was just kind of a temporary relief. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Asiya, we usually talk with our guests about support that they receive when they're going through something. What kind of support did you receive from your family or friends during this whole journey of endometriosis?
My family, especially my husband, was very, very supportive during this painful journey of mine. As of my knowledge, we don't have a support group for endometriosis here in UAE, though women's health is considered as one of the prime importance here in UAE. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I'm sorry. What about like online? Are there different
There-
support groups that?
maybe not specifically for your region,
Endometriosis?
but on Facebook
Yeah.
and Instagram.
Yeah, you may find, but not so many. I mean, like it's a kind of a very difficult to find kind of a support.
Is it something it's not something that's taboo? It's something that is.
Well, is it taboo in?
Is it?
I mean, like if you talk about how common is the condition here in UAE, I mean, like endometriosis affects as estimate 1 in 10 women during their reproductive years. That is usually between the age of 15 to 49, which is approximately 176 million women in the world taken from endometriosis organization. And in UAE, it's not any different. Yeah.
So
But
they
is that something that is talked about, or is that something that in
I
your
guess-
region they don't like to discuss?
In a Muslim in an area that's primarily Muslim, is women's menstruation something that you can talk about openly?
Oh yeah, it's
Okay,
like
okay.
gone are the times when in every country we have some kind. No, everybody talks very openly,
Okay.
and we go forward, because in our Islam also, if you are having any kind of a problem, you have to go to your doctor for checkups, for do everything to maintain your health. Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. Asiya, do you have any hints, tips, or advice to somebody who has recently been diagnosed with endometriosis?
Yes, definitely. First of all, faith. You should have a very strong willpower and self-belief that you should overcome this problem or any problem in the world. And should never give up. Have strong faith, follow your doctor's advice, get the support from your family members, your near and dears, and have faith and believe you shall overcome it very soon. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. It's positive mental attitude.
Yes, it's not. Yeah, you sound like a very positive force in the world.
I just want to add more, not to forget to do physical exercises, which keeps you mentally and physically fit.
Right.
It's very
right.
important.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
So again, Asiya, thank you for joining us on Podcast DX. Last time you
Thank
spoke,
you so much.
you tell us again, how can our listeners find out more about you?
What is your Instagram account?
Yeah, my Instagram account is ASIYARAFIQQ, Asiya Rafiq, and my Facebook is also the same, Asiya Rafiq with double Q at the end,
Okay.
and my Twitter is also Asiya Rafiq with double Q at the end. So I'm creating a page also for the endo because I want to get like support for such women who are actually facing such problems. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Excellent.
And we'll have links for
Thank
all of those on our website.
Yes, definitely. If our listeners have any questions or comments related to today's show, they can contact us at podcastdx@yahoo.com, through our website, podcastdx.com, on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, or Instagram.
And if you have a moment to spare, please give us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. As always, please keep in mind that this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment, and always seek the advice of your healthcare professional always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or before undertaking a new healthcare regime. And never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have heard on this podcast. I will go and drink some coffee.